because it's receiving enough of a stream and I can see it in the preview, but when I click start streaming, is it gonna work? Oh, event is starting. It's actually gonna let me do it. We're in.
Yay!
Woohoo! We're there. Oh, so much fun I have with YouTube. The Papatoetoe Auckland studios in New Zealand still is surviving on 4 megabytes of upload, more megabits per second. And regarding 365's Office 365 Message Center, the week that was, will one day be able to refrain from saying, "Get off my internet," much the same way that an old man says, "Get off my lawn." I have to shout out around the neighbourhood, "Everyone off, stop your gaming, stop your viewing of morning shows and all that sort of stuff like Good Mythical Morning, and just, give me some internet, please."
Pretty
Anyway,
please.
Yep, that's enough for the
You know what, Daryl?
Yes.
Daryl, we got a problem.
What's that?
Last week we had one message in the message center. This week, not so much.
So we have a smorgasbord today.
Well, I think the team thought maybe that we had too much time off, or we felt too comfortable with just one. So we've got 8 this week.
You've got 8. I count a lot more. Let me switch over mine.
You count a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your screen, friend, and I'm counting 8.
Oh, so we're ignoring the ones that came through yesterday?
I don't have any that came. Your favorite? You're making changes in IP new feature. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, more and more. Anyway, so that's why we shouldn't be blah 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 blaring along about the message center. You've given us a lot to talk about today, Microsoft, and
Yes.
Truth be told, we haven't actually checked this every hour and seen everything to come in. So
I'm gonna refresh the page.
let's get cracking, dude.
Yeah.
The first message, and we won't necessarily spend all the time on here, but this is a great one. What's that?
You're right. I just hit refresh and I've got 2 more. Fantastic. And I just loaded this an hour ago. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Ta-da! Okay, so Office 365 groups expiration policies. Great policy. Great ability to be able to manage the life cycle of an Office 365 group.
Right.
So this has been in preview for a little while, so we have known about it, and we've seen people's opinions and discussions about this capability. Main point is that the sticking point is it's a feature that's only available to Azure AD Premium customers.
Right.
What do you think about that, Dan? You, like most of us, where we kind of wish that was something available to everyone?
Yeah, I do wish it was. And I think I don't know anything about, whether this will change or not, but I would be welcome. It would be a welcome change if, some of these features that we got did not require Azure AD Premium. But for right now, it does. And you can configure the settings in your portal and PowerShell, which is awesome. For those of us that love PowerShell, fantastic. For those of us that don't like PowerShell or would just rather clicky, then it's going to be in the portal. But it is important to note that it is turned off by default. So.
Yeah. But it's just to step you through some of those basics of what it does. When you have it turned on, you will get a warning after a period of inactivity. I forget what that period is. I think it is. I should have looked that up. Period of inactivity, where you will then, if you're a group owner, you'll get a warning to say that this portal will be expired within a month. And as an owner, you get the opportunity then to renew that. So that you don't have to, so it won't expire on its own.
Right.
if you do not touch that portal for a further 30 days and you don't respond to that expiry and that possible renewal period, then it will expire. So.
And everything you just described, I think, and it's one of those good clickies. If you click on the additional information there, it does describe all of that and some other detail. So do that, everybody. Make sure you click on that one. That's a good one to read.
Additional information, yeah, and we won't.
And it's not a blog post.
No, that's right.
It's actually a support article.
It's a useful one. Okay, so this one, I'm going to have to add a little link to our information thingo over my shoulder after the show, so it's available for people watching this later on. But I got pretty excited about this when I saw Sherman Wu tweeting this, and this is why Twitter is my news feed. It is my little news ticker. Saw this thing come up from Sherman saying, guess what? This is in the Message Center. Planner is now going to support guest user access. This is the missing piece, in my opinion, for coordinating projects where you've got external users or guest users in your Microsoft Teams and in your Office 365 groups. They will now be able to see the Planner tab in your team. They'll be able to click the Planner link in your Outlook group. What does this mean for us, Dan?
Well, I think this is fantastic. For those of you that haven't been playing along for a little while, the Regarding 365 team, we actually use Teams a lot, and we're using it to organize. And one of the things that it would be nice for us to do, and will be nice for us now to do, is to utilize Planner. I think this is nice functionality. One thing that I wanted to make note of is there's no kind of preview of this. There's no test it out. It's going to be turned on, which I don't know why I get weird feelings about this one, just because there is no testing it. It's just do it. And I think that's not unusual for some of these, especially these external user type situations, but it's interesting to me. Maybe not to anyone else, but.
What I see with many of these sorts of guest access capabilities is they're either kind of hobbled in that you can do some stuff as a guest user, or you can do everything that you need to. Now, SharePoint Online has been leading the charge since, was it 2013 when it came out for Office 365? You could have external guest users, and they had this soft limit of thousands of users saying, yes, you can invite plenty in, and then they just rip that limit out. So you can come in, you can be a contributor to the site. And that was cool. Yeah, like you, I'm wondering, what is this going to mean for Planner? Do people get to see the plan in just the Teams tab? Do they get to go through to the full site? Can they participate fully in the plan itself? So yeah, we won't know.
It seems like, I don't know, from the way it's being discussed, I think it will have access. So because it does say guest users will be able to access Planner plans for any group in Teams they've been added to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. My hope is that it's full access, and particularly around the better experience at the moment is for an Outlook group, where if you want to discuss a task in the plan, then that becomes something in the conversations area of your Outlook group. Whereas with Teams, you go to discuss a task, it still goes off to that Outlook group that's underlying the Microsoft team, but the discussion's not in Teams, which is where everyone's talking. So here's hoping they come up with some way to expose the discussions on task cards.
Well, and I agree with you. And that actually, when you started talking about Outlook, that reminded me of, we've got in a couple of items here, there's an update about Outlook and the way it's going to handle Office 365 groups that were created from Microsoft Teams. So I think it's very interesting how all of these interconnect, yes, but then how do you handle displaying all that information? You've got many places to go to get to these different bits, but I think coupled with what you just said and the knowledge of what we'll be able to do with this update that we're going to discuss here in a few moments, it's just interesting. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But
Well, let's keep it moving on up. So we've got a monthly updates roll up of, hey, this is what's arrived in Office 2016 for Office 365. So have a look, see at that yourself. Some good features there. Groups created for Teams will be hidden
this is the one
from Outlook. Okay, yeah, so exactly. Can I talk about a real story where this is actually useful, where while it isn't hidden, it is useful? We have a client who's using Microsoft Teams and looking to really make use of that. They communicate as a team in Teams. They use the conversations area and the files area. They're potentially going to be using Planner for their daily stand-up as well. But they still want to be able to bring in messages to a real email address from, let's say, a complaints facility or something like that. So at the moment, they can do all their stuff in Teams, but then they can go over to the related Outlook group and see the mailbox and see these messages coming in because they've allowed external users to email. Useful. What happens when it's hidden?
Well, and so I have a great one as well. I have a client, same kind of thing. They're working with external people to be able to send in information about jobs, not like I guess work jobs, like they're building stuff. And so they've got people on site working and they need to email in plans. They need to be anyway. So we're going to manage that in an Office 365 group. But if we're doing all the communications in Teams and then that email comes in, how do you, right? Just like you're saying. And here's the thing. I think, first of all, what I see in this is that they're wanting to, it says this will result in a more tailored experience in Outlook. I think that's true because people are creating teams wanting to have conversation there, and it's cluttering up Outlook.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening. It's just, and the thought is, well, you should be having those conversations in Teams. So why would you have it in Outlook? Well, you and I just have an example of why you would want that. So the second thing I wanted to say was it is off. It's hidden. The hidden feature is on. It is hidden by default. So that tells us we can actually, if you want to not hide it, then you can. The interesting thing is, if I don't see any information about how to turn it back, like for a specific group, I wanted, because there is example down at the bottom saying if you want to keep the current behavior, you can use a new property commandlet, screaming PowerShell at me. So that's great. So does that
hide
mean
from Exchange clients equals false?
Yeah. So are we supposed to do this per group that we want to show in Outlook?
Yeah, look, potentially. I mean, you think about it. The default is don't show them, so that if someone belongs to 10 teams, they're not going to see 10 groups in Outlook that they don't want to chat with. But our both of our examples, I mean, one is managing customer complaints. We go in and we just turn that on. We set that particular
for
property
the whole team. For the whole group. Sorry, for the whole group.
For that team/group. Yep.
Yeah, but what if I want it and you don't?
Within the team. Now, I don't think you can set it for individual users.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what's it going to be like? What's the experience going to be like when, maybe no one in the group, everyone's having conversations in Teams, but there's someone who's managing conversations from the outside, and so they need it in Outlook.
Yeah.
How is that going to work? I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking the question. I really don't know how that's going to work. I just hope it does work.
Let's just switch over to live chat. I know that they're 20 seconds behind us, but Max Fritz says that it does look like it is a per group setting.
Yeah. does.
And like, to be honest, if we could have it at the user level, that would be nice. But I think for the use case where a group wants to respond to customer complaints from their shared mailbox in the Outlook group, then that would fit. So,
then they have to contact an administrator,
yeah,
who can run PowerShell.
Yep.
So this is another help desk ticket.
Yeah.
I don't like this at all. I mean, the concept I'm okay with. Yeah. I don't like the implementation by PowerShell only, and I don't like the implementation of it's on or off. And so maybe it's not, but it looks like it is. We don't know. We don't have it yet because it's going to be targeted release late April, so it's later this month. So hope somebody remind us. We'll take a look at it. I think. I don't
well,
like
the
this.
Message Center will remind us, won't it? It'll come back with
no, it won't.
This is
Actually, it won't. And Max says in the chat, maybe then it shouldn't be connected to the same group. I hear you, and I've heard that argument from Microsoft themselves. You say, well, I've got this use case where this group needs to do this, and that doesn't fly, and they're like, well, it's separated. It's like, well, no. That can't, and I guess, and Max is right. You have to look at this from a perspective of you need to be fluid and you need to be nimble and figure it out. But you have to. There's sometimes where it doesn't make sense. Breaking it up into two groups would stifle communication and collaboration rather than bringing it together. Anyway, we need to keep going. Sorry, soapbox. I'm off.
Ideation. Pause.
Yeah, sorry.
So I skipped over one message there, which relates to my Intune subscription. Perhaps we should start covering that in something. I don't know, but this one here about.
Did you get? There's one that I don't think you have. ATP Safe Links. Do you have that?
No.
So there. I'll cover it real quick.
Yeah.
It's a new feature, ATP Safe Links for internal emails. So the advanced threat protection safe links, which is in the Office 365, when you send an email or when you receive an email and you have it turned on, then there's a safe link. You click on it, it actually doesn't bring up the URL. It brings up a Microsoft URL that checks the URL to make sure it's safe and then allows you to go to the URL. This has been an external feature where external email was received. Now they're going to be turning it on for internal emails as well, which I think is amazing. I mean, that's exactly the right way you want to go, because what happens if one computer is compromised within your organization? It can send a bunch of emails internally. And so if this is not turned on, then everybody will get a link that's not protected by ATP. So this will be gradually rolling out starting today, and that was March 30th, which is Friday. And the rollout will be completed by the end of April. So,
good feature. Turn it on.
Yep.
All right. Just a quick note about consolidated Yammer networks.
Did we know about this? Did we know about this, Daryl? This Yammer thing?
Yeah,
and
kind of.
Is it a big deal? It kind of seems like a pretty big deal to me. I don't know. I'm just wondering, is it a big deal?
Yammer
You
will
tell
no
me.
longer support multiple Yammer networks associated with an Office 365 tenant. So let's go back to what these are. I have a core Yammer network, and I want to create an external network.
Right.
So I'm going to create that for communicating with this customer. Right, now I've got another customer. I'm going to create another external network. Now this is really akin to our guest access in Microsoft Teams, where we have to switch between networks and tenants. So this looks like they're going to be removing that capability. And to be honest, you actually have a better experience when you use external groups within your own core network. I have the core Adopt and Embrace network. We have an external group where we invite people in from our customer, and I don't have to switch between external networks.
I agree with you, but does this not? So I have always related this feature to the way we've done it in SharePoint for a while, is that you don't allow SharePoint external SharePoint access into your core network, into your core site. So if you have an intranet, which may or may not be important, everyone should tune in to our debate coming up later this month where we talk about that. But you have your core intranet.
April 20th
and then you have
in New Zealand time, April 19th in the
April 19th
Pacific
at 3 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Central. Tune in live. We have the second site set up for external access, and the two never shall meet, right? Or as far as from the external access, right? Because you're totally separating them. Now you're talking about you have one network with external and internal access. How do and I don't know the answer to this, how do I know from an internal user perspective, how do I know if when I'm in Yammer, whether external people are seeing what I'm saying or not? Is there an indication of saying big red button that says external? What do I get?
Yep. So there is the icon that says that this is a group that contains external users. It's set up as an external group. It's much like how teams have gone the direction of inviting external guests in. So you have your core team, and you're inviting external people into that specific team.
I agree with you. I think overall, from all of the services, they need to do a better job at highlighting if this thing is external. Kind of like when you get an alert saying this is secure information or secure document. It needs to be up bold, because I do not want my users making conversation, uploading documents in Teams or in Yammer or anywhere else that is supposed to be internal only accidentally because they didn't realize that group in Yammer or that channel, or whatever in Teams was externally turned on, or external users were invited. So I just think there needs to be a better job, because in Teams, it's not very evident. You have to kind of look at the thread and go, oh, somebody has external next to their, Anyway, all right, sorry. Another soapbox. Stepping down.
I think Yammer have done a good job with this part of it, but I think the key thing here too is the external networks that will be starting September will no longer be supporting multiple Yammer networks. Right. What is going to happen to that content? And if you've had lots of discussions and you've shared files with external, maybe we need to get someone like Angus or Steve on to have a quick chat. I might do a quick interview and just sort of loop them in as a follow-up to this. Sounds like a good idea.
Yep. Right.
So, keeping on moving, because we've got about...
No.
Too long.
I screwed it all.
Theming. So we have to address this one, because Cece Adamo has got some good questions around this. What do you know about it, Dan?
Well, one of the main questions I saw on Twitter was about what do you need to do to get this, and I think the answer is you're not supposed to have to do anything to get this for classic sites. Then it'll just show up. I'll take a look deeper or look at all those questions, and I can do a follow-up video real quick on this later.
Cool. Actually, it gave me an idea for a new segment called Ask Reggie.
Yes.
Reggie isn't regarding anyway. But in short, so the theming experience was just coming to modern sites, and it allowed you to change your color, your accent color, a few other things as well. And you can I found some developer site in the additional notes here where you can go down and use something of a wizard to write the JSON to change your theming. It's expanding to classic sites, and so when you go under that change the look link, if you're hanging on to your classic sites, then you'll have that new experience of changing up your accented colors.
From a SharePoint guy perspective, just remember, this is not like you're not taking your classic site and making it this, not SharePoint, not look like SharePoint kind of thing. It's theming. It's not.
Yep.
But it's nice to have, but it's theming. Remember that.
Yep.
All right.
Keeping moving. So your favorite folders and groups are now in Outlook for iOS. Cool. So whatever you set up in Outlook on your desktop, you'll have a quick and easy way that's visible to Outlook and iOS. Good.
We're all for integration and same experience in both environments, my phone and my desktop. So as soon as the phone gets dynamic email signatures that can include images, will be great. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox again.
And you just stand up there on that soapbox.
Yeah, I should just
skip
stay
over
there.
the Intune one. Teams, so we're getting into some of the ones that were released in the last day or two. Teams
Right.
retention policy is now available. I did read about this, so this is good, meaning that the messaging or your conversations, you can set retention policies over how long you're going to keep those based
That's
on
right.
the
And
team.
no default policies are currently set up. So
Right.
you'll have to set this up if you want it on, and it's going to be turned off by default. So, just be aware that it's there and you can use it, which I think this is great. It's turned off by default.
Yeah.
Um,
Much like
and
Exchange, right?
yep.
Yeah,
So
so it's off for Exchange.
yeah, this is going to be starting to roll out next week, and we'll go through the middle of the month. So they're going to do this pretty quickly.
Yeah, and again, we'll probably do a little follow once that comes out. I think it would be a good one
Yeah.
to look into. How do you enable retention for your messages on a team?
Right.
Quite important for compliance reasons, and of course, if you want to go back over and confirm. I've never really got my head around the thought that retention is also used for tossing out stuff at the end, like when you don't want it for 7 years. I mean, I'm a hoarder.
Yeah.
I guess I want to sort of keep everything.
I'm sorry, you're a what?
A hoarder.
Okay,
Hoarder.
got it.
Do I need to real enunciate my R's? Anyway, yeah. So I would want to keep anything and everything, but I guess that you can use this policy as well to turf it at the end.
Well, there's some organizations that have to get rid of stuff, so it's not, or they have a policy basically to get rid of stuff, and so
Yeah.
this is a real thing. A lot of people think, "Hey, everybody should just keep everything." Not true. It's some organizations have that policy.
Well, I actually saw it in the article talking about this, describing it as if you want to get rid of stuff that could be used against you in litigation. I think I
Yeah.
read that.
It's
Yeah.
called discoverability. And so if you have it, then it can be discovered, which is basically a process of the other side of a lawsuit serving you saying, give me everything in your organization that has this tag on it,
Yeah.
that says Daniel Glenn. So if you, or, polluting water or whatever, right? And so if you get rid of it, you purge it, you delete it out, then when
Yeah.
they come to you, you just say, I don't have it. I don't have
Yep.
anything like that.
Yep. Fair call. All right. And lastly, some updates to IP addresses and URLs that you may be using in your firewalls and in your other sort of infrastructure to make sure that people can access Office 365 in your environment. Just checking
Yep.
in lastly with some of the live chat there. Thanks, Sarah, for tuning in and watching the show. Hey, Steve, good to see you there. And by the
Look
way,
at Phil
thank you
jumping in.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on his
vacation.
holiday. And thanks, Steve, for joining us, literally joining us. So, Steve Collier is a new contributor to Regarding 365, and you might have caught his first story. Let's wrap this up, dude, because I know you've got a meeting shortly.
Yep.
So I know that through the changes in daylight savings that we kept the same time based on New Zealand relativity, but we'll work on that. I might be willing to get up at 5 a.m. so that the rest of the world can watch it during their lunchtime or whatever. So yeah, do tune in to Regarding 365 as you do, and into the Office 365 Message Center. We've got a few shows coming up, and we've got a debate. We've got a discussion on Azure information protection with Joanne Klein and Alice Pugin and Jethro Segers, and we've got all sorts of stuff we're trying to line up. So look, thanks again for all your support, and we'll update this little icon over the top of my shoulder there with various different links to videos and previous stuff. And do click on that to see next week's episode, because I got organised on I actually put it there. Click
Over
on
there.
it, set your reminder, and tune in again. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.